Hey, welcome back to Exodus. I'm really excited to get started tonight because we've got a really cool thing that we got last session that is called an asset, and we were just discussing kind of potential ideas for how we want to use it, just so we're not like scrambling on the spot, whatever it comes up. Um, so we've got that figured out, I think. It's going to be a lot of fun. Before we jump into the story and everything, though, I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves and their characters, and then I'll pass it on over to Vanessa to run the show here. Starting top left, which is me, I'm Raven. I'm playing Niklaus Sebastian Adama, also known as Nick or Klaus. He's a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type character, except both sides are kind of assholes. But one's
Kinda?
a little bit... One's a little more homicidal than the other. But yeah, he's a fun character. Rich doctor from Topside that's down here and has that whole thing going on. And then I'm, as I said, Raven. I do tons of things from tabletop design, GMing, streaming, voice acting, art, a whole ton of stuff. You can find out what I do at my Linktree, which I'll throw into chat. And then before I pass it on over to Rowan, a quick note about sponsors: Fundamental RPG, Intrepid. Both of those are really cool things. Fundamental RPG is my tabletop system. It's available for pre-order. Should be releasing here either the last week of this month, so in a couple weeks, or potentially the first week in March, depending on a couple of production things that are still a little up in the air. But very, very soon it's coming out. And Intrepid is adventuring gear for real life. So outdoor athletics and casual wear with a tabletop theme to them. It's pretty cool stuff. You can check out all that at coffee.com/raven/shop, just like it says in chat. And then also, if you haven't been keeping up with Exodus, or if you want to catch up on any of the other shows that we have, starting very soon in the next, hopefully in the next couple of days, you'll be able to catch all the past episodes on the Fantasy Network, which you can also see in chat in just a moment. I'll put the link up there. But that's me and my character and stuff about the channel. Rowan, tell us a little bit about Pepper Ann and yourself.
Hi, I'm Rowan North, and I may or may not sneeze. I'm a freelance illustrator and an art educator, and you can find my stuff at rowannorthillustrations.org. I've got my new paints ready for pre-order, and I'm working on a whole bunch of other cool things that may be fun to look at, so let me link that. I play Pepper Ann McGillicuddy. Pepper Ann was born and raised in under the sea, so to speak. She is came from a wealthy, kind of sheltered home, and with kind of a controlling grandfather. So she's got some issues. However, she escapes those issues by imagining everyone is animals. And sometimes that becomes a reality, at least to her, as she kind of starts freaking out and uses more and more of her plasmid. So yeah, that's her. She also has 2 doggos, and that's me.
Fantastic. Next we've got Yasmin. Tell us about Bambi and yourself.
Hey, I play Bambi Darling, Exodus's resident starlet harlot, who is also a little worse for wear in the mental health department. She has a deep-seated vendetta against another performer who may or may not come and impact their livelihood. We'll see. And I am a visual storyteller. And you can find, I actually, just this morning, as a partial insomniac, just put this together. I have finally a page on my website that includes all of my stuff. So if you want to check out some of my artwork or any of the other weird things that I do, you can there in that link that I just posted.
Awesome. All right, and then last but not least, V, tell us a little bit about yourself and this really cool game that you've put together for us.
Hi, my name is Vanessa. A little bit about myself. Let's see. I'm an August Leo. I am 5'8".
Do you like
no.
long walks on the beach?
You know what? Not quite. I find that the sand is just too coarse and annoying. You know.
Do you like pina
God.
coladas?
And it gets everywhere.
It does, just truly everywhere. It's not my cup of tea. No. Hi, I'm Vanessa. I am the resident Canadian of the group. I am also a traditional artist. I work with watercolor and pencil sketch, and also a little bit of digital art as well. You can check out my stuff on my art Twitter, which is there under my little Game Master icon. It's at Pepero Draws, and that's Pepero like the candy. And yeah, this is Exodus. This is a system that I built myself. I have no idea why I said, hey, first time as GM, let's make a whole new system. But here we are. But yeah, it's a game that is based on my favorite game of all time, which is the BioShock series, in which we are all trapped in an underwater city and we're trying to make our way out. I also play all the other characters in the city, aside from our lovely PCs. But mostly I play Anastasia Petrova, who is a former nurse. She used to work with the head of the medical department when Exodus was a fully functioning city, and has since become the resident tour guide for our group. And she is currently leading the group towards the eastern side of the city, where the entertainment district is, because she thinks that she might have an idea, that there might be somebody over there that can help us. So that's where we left off last session. You guys had just kind of had like a little break, set yourselves up with Celeste for a little while. You were able to grab some new plasmids, some supplies. Oh my goodness, English, wow. Some supplies that will come in handy for you, I'm sure. You guys were able to stop the toxin that was spreading through the air systems, through the irrigation systems. That was a little gift from Penelope. And as you were making your way out, you also heard from Penelope again, in fact. She gave you a little parting message as you guys continued on your way. So that is where we pick up. You guys are on the way now to the entertainment district. Is there anything you'd like to start with? Do you guys go swiftly? Or are you kind of dragging your feet, seeing the sights a little bit? What's on the go with you guys?
Bambi is so excited to be going to the entertainment district because this is like her home.
This is definitely the soft spot for Bambi, huh? This is the spot like, she knows well.
Onward!
So, actually, Pepper seems nervous, and she kind of hangs back, maybe hanging around Anastasia a little more, and she kind of quietly says, I never was allowed to go to the entertainment district.
Sorry, that was about something else.
Mine was definitely for Pepper.
Dun, dun.
Ignore me.
That's funny.
Go ahead.
So she's like, I've never been. Grandpa said that it would lead to bad habits and using money and wasting time, and so I'm kind of scared.
So when you say that, Anastasia kind of shifts her gaze momentarily in Bambi's direction. Doesn't say anything, but just kind of gives Pepper a small smile and says, well, I can certainly understand where he was coming from, but we'll be all right.
Bambi chooses not to say anything in response, as just looks super gleeful.
Well, I was gonna say that Nick was encouraging Bambi in the excitement, but that oh no was because I rolled a 2 on resistance, which is a 9 total. So it's not Nick right now. It's Klaus.
Fuck Klaus.
Man, you're just not getting much luck in that department.
I mean,
are you?
I relate to you having played a Jekyll and Hyde character.
Yeah. What do you think was the
Seriously.
inspiration for that? So yeah, instead of Nick encouraging Bambi, it's just Klaus trying to take the spotlight and just being like, the entertainment district? Yes, let's go see a show. Let's get new clothes. It'll be so much fun.
Is he not even bothering hiding himself now?
We went over this like
I know.
a couple sessions ago and everybody was cool about it. So
Yeah, we're all
Klaus
like,
"All right, fine."
Sounds good,
Hold on. Excuse me. I'd like to add that we weren't cool with it. We were just going to put it on the back burner.
It was more like, okay, but now Klaus is just like here, like, who cares if it's Nick or me? We're just gonna be like, buddy chum pals.
Yeah. The Klaus
It's very
is out of the
easy
bag
to
now.
say. Yeah, it's very easy to see that when that kind of switch happens. The moment Anastasia hears Klaus's voice rather than Nick's, she does get like her posture gets a little more rigid. Her eyes kind of narrow a little bit. You can tell that this is it will be a subject for discussion eventually. She didn't trust you to begin with, so there's not really any change there. But just the kind of voice and the attitude that you have seems to set off that kind of fight or flight response in her. So we'll see how that pans out.
Cool question about that. Is that
Mhm.
something Klaus can notice?
Yeah, let's where's my book? Let's take a look.
And I apologize in advance.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. You say, doesn't matter if you're the GM, Raven, or a player. You say, don't worry about it. I always worry.
I mean, fair.
I'm gonna get you to roll intuition for me, please.
Okay. That is a 16 plus something, maybe, possibly. Oh, yeah. I'm really good at intuition. That's a 26.
26. Oh yeah, you are able to fully see. If you look at Anastasia, you can see by her demeanor that this little change, like the noticeable change in you, is affecting her without a doubt.
Okay. Klaus is going to make her more uncomfortable. He's just gonna like slide up next to her and do like the side hug, like arm on the shoulder, and go, "Oh, lighten up! It's gonna be so much fun."
Her initial instinct is like her hand moves towards where her pistol is.
Yeah.
And you can actually like you can properly feel the tension in her shoulders now as she kind of like tenses all her muscles up, and there's like a slight tremor to them.
Okay.
But she
Can I-
kind of like, yeah.
Pepper's gonna shove him. Pepper's gonna shove his arm away.
All right. I guess we'll just start a
She
fight
doesn't like
with our
bad
own
touching.
party.
Where did the bad man touch you, Pepper?
Remember, she doesn't like people touching her.
No.
She doesn't like people bad touching people that she likes.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah. So I guess
Klaus is a villain,
for
but he does
Pepper,
have his standards.
yeah. Well, we would hope. For Pepper, for you, that's strength. And then for Klaus, what would be your reaction to that? Like if you see Pepper's coming to like shove you away, how are you gonna
30-20.
react?
Well, I mean, Pepper's right there. She was just whispering to.
Yeah. So she's on the other
Anastasia.
side of Anastasia. So you can see her there. But if she's coming, this kind of I have to decide which role to give you.
Question. Is it
Sure.
possible to use a plasmid and not do damage, just have the effect?
Jesus Christ, what plasma do you have again?
Oh my
The
god,
ice
this
one.
is gonna be a fucking like cluster truck of just
Because neither
Yeah.
I especially, and even Klaus, don't actually want to do damage. It's more for comedic effect.
Right. So basically what I'm seeing is if you put Klaus and Sid together, they basically form Todoroki from My Hero. One of them is like Inspire. I love it.
I haven't seen that yet, but I also just drew a comparison to DC with Snart and Rory from The Flash.
I have not consumed any Flash content either. So.
They're a couple of criminals that turn sort of good guys, and they've got like a freeze gun and a fire gun.
Love that. Okay, so yeah. Also, Riley supports. Yeah. Yes, Riley, you are now a part of the Todoroki dichotomy of Sid and Nick Klaus.
Anyways.
Yeah. So yes, you can do that. Describe to me what the intention is. So what are you mainly going for?
So I'll just describe what's happening in my head and just let me know if it happens or not. Feel free to
sounds
adjust it.
So first, should I say what my strength roll is?
You said dirty 20, right?
Dirty 20, yes.
Okay, so Raven, explain to me what you would like to have happen.
Klaus isn't going to try to resist that. Just the arm gets shoved off, and he goes, excuse me. He looks over at Pepper, goes, "Oh, are we playing tag? How about freeze tag?" And is just going to throw ice at Pepper to try to freeze her in place.
Okay, so you want to freeze her feet in place, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, so since you are not trying to do damage, I'm gonna get you to roll accuracy for me.
Okay.
Do I roll anything to dodge?
22.
22. Okay.
Yes, 22. I can math. What?
Math is hard. I haven't taken
is.
math since high school, so I don't blame you. Yeah, Pepper, sure. If you wanna go for dodge, then I think that would be the proper one.
Dodge.
So with your strength roll, he doesn't resist. You're able to kind of push him away. He steps back.
That's not one, my dudes.
Oh.
Oh, this freaking clown's gonna get everybody killed. I'm so sorry, everybody.
I don't know how I feel right now.
Okay. So with a nat one. So Pepper, you see that Anastasia is really having a hard time dealing with the way Klaus is acting right now, and you go and you push his hand off of her shoulders, which is totally successful. He doesn't resist. You were able to do so successfully. He kind of rears back, says his awful pun about freeze tag, and uses. You can tick off a use on your plasmid, Raven, because you're being. Okay. You're just wasting energy now for the sake of being a little shit. So
Yep.
You go ahead and you are able to shoot it, and you connect exactly the way that you had intended to do. You root Pepper's feet in place. Pepper, on the other hand, because you tried to dodge, rather than just getting the material of your shoes the way that move was naturally intended, you end up putting yourself in such a position that when it hits, it does not just connect with the material of your shoes, but also kind of roots up to your leg as well. and you do end up taking some damage. What is your damage dice for your plasmid raven? Do you remember?
It's a D4.
A D4? Okay, yeah. Go ahead and roll that D4 for me.
Me, right?
Yes, sorry.
2.
2. All right. So Pepper, you feel the cold connecting with your boots at first, and then as it slowly rises up your leg a little bit, and you can feel that heat, like the burn, when you put your skin on something that's cold for too long, it feels like it's burning. You start to feel that on the skin of your leg as well.
Klaus looks at this and goes, "Oh, you weren't supposed to move. You made me miss. It was supposed to just hit your feet." Well,
So she looks surprised, and then like like her hackles raise, and immediately the dogs respond. Like they start their hackles raise, and they're growling, and she kind of glowers, and they circle around her like on each side, like they're protecting her, and teeth are bared, like they're responding to her anger. And if you are quiet, perhaps you can hear the fluttering of moth wings.
So
I hate
seeing this happen kind of very quickly, as soon as that tension becomes very, very thick in the air, because all of this has happened very, very quickly in succession, Anastasia now draws her pistol. And she does not point at anybody, it's pointing towards the ground, but she does have it. She is prepped and ready to go. She kind of puts herself closer to Pepper, but is positioning her body so that she has eyes on both of them. And she kind of stays there for a moment and waits just to see, if perhaps the tension will dissipate on its own.
I hate that laugh. You're just like,
Bambi is kind of dumbstruck, and it takes her a second to like catch up to what's going on. And she will prepare to use her plasmid if need be, if it escalates any further than this.
the question is on who?
Meanwhile, while that's happening, Sid, who is still just recovering from whatever toxin was infecting her body, still not at 100%, but she does position herself on the side of Klaus. And you can see kind of like the little sparks run up her fingers. They kind of follow the twists and turns of the veins up on her wrist. And they kind of spark a little bit. There's kind of like this thrum of just very, very thin flame coating a couple of her fingers as she looks from Klaus to Anastasia to Pepper. So she's very, very acutely taking in the situation as well.
Klaus is just leaving it there, not making any other aggressive move.
Yeah, so seeing that Klaus is kind of like, whatever, Sid lets go that flame, and it kind of, it's gone. And she kind of sits back a little bit and puts her hands in her pockets. Still watching, but not ready to toast anybody.
Abby just holds really still, like a deer, ready to act.
That comparison to a deer was pretty apt. So yeah, no, Pepper takes stock, like the different animals we got going on here. We've got like Mama Kangaroo on her side.
Oh my god.
We've got this fucking like. Do you guys remember like Lion King 2, the Kobu's brother that was really weird and scraggly? That's freaking Klaus. And then we have Sid, who is some sort of fox, and Bambi, who's a deer, and or perhaps a trash mammal. Well, who knows? And who knows what side Bambi's on? But we've got these two like predator types against her and her dogs, and she's just like considers, and she glowers at Klaus and she says, "Make it go away."
Make what go away?
The ice.
Oh yes, it'll melt shortly. Don't worry about it. I'm bored now. Let's go. We just start skipping off towards the entertainment district.
Not even minding the fact that she's literally rooted to place.
Yep.
Yeah.
It only lasts like one turn, I think, if I read the sheet right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just next turn. So not it doesn't last that long.
Okay. So as Klaus kind of skips away, Sid momentarily steps up and ignites those flames again. And she looks at you, Pepper, and she says, "Oh, I could try to melt it for you if you'd like."
She gives her this very distrustful look.
Seeing that expression on her face, Sid just shrugs her shoulders, puts the flame out, and follows Klaus.
I love Sid.
So when Sydney follows where Klaus is going, kind of off in the eastern direction, Anastasia takes off her knapsack and pulls out one of the tools that she has. She has kind of like a couple of different medical supplies, medical tools in her backpack that she carries with her. And she picks something that's relatively sturdy, and she starts chipping at the ice closer to the base of your feet that is particularly rooted in spot where it's thickest. And she just kind of chips at that as it begins to melt, because Klaus is correct, it doesn't last too long, but she kind of chips at it as it starts to melt, and then within a minute or so you're able to take your feet out.
So I can imagine Hearn actually licking, trying to like help thaw the ice, and just gets his tongue stuck.
Klaus just calls back after like 30 seconds of that or so and goes, "Are you coming or not? Don't tell me you've gotten cold feet."
Bambi's standing in the in-between, like Klaus has walked off, and Bambi, and then Pepper, and everybody else, and she's just standing there wringing her hands, like she doesn't know how to respond, but you can see like the tension, anxiousness, and then she is like makes the mental note that there's now nothing that she can help with and everything is under control, and like flipping a coin, she just like kind of pinwheels halfway around and like literally traipses off towards Klaus.
I think Klaus waits for Bambi to catch up a little bit and then does the like hooking arms together type thing. And yeah. It just starts asking Bambi about the entertainment district, like, so what kind of clothing stores are there? This suit's quite destroyed at this point. I think it's a write-off.
Oh, I know the best tailor. Now, I don't know if the tailor's still in town or if the tailor's even alive, but I'm sure we can find something.
As long as he doesn't take too long. I like a swift tailor.
She's just like reaches over and pats the front of his chest.
Yep.
Oh, these two gonna be the death of me.
I apologize for nothing.
Oh boy.
This is a good question, actually. I don't know if Klaus actually would like Taylor Swift music or not.
I get the joke! Oh dear God, I'm so slow.
Oh no.
It's okay.
I didn't connect either. Yes, it's okay.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Considering Taylor Swift is not alive at the time this is taking place, I'm gonna go with no.
No, that's a hypothetical.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Please continue.
Jesus. Yeah, so you guys are a little bit ahead. You, Klaus, Bambi, as well as Sydney. It only takes a very, very short amount of time for the ice to be chipped away from your feet. You're able to walk. It kind of takes a couple minutes as you go for the ice to melt off your pant legs fully. You can still feel that burning sensation as you walk. And then as the further you go, when you come inside after shoveling snow, and the heat from inside makes the burning worse because it's no longer cold anymore. It's not a cold burn, it's a cold meets hot burn. That's kind of this sensation that you're getting on your skin as your skin is warming back up. It's kind of clashing with the sensation of the cold ice. So it starts to sting a little bit, but it does not cause you any further damage.
Well, she does say it hurts. So, like, making note that he actually did hurt her.
Yeah. Anastasia kind of gives you a small circular rub on the back, very briefly. She doesn't pull anything out of her knapsack. She just kind of tells you like it'll warm back up in a couple of minutes. So just hang in there.
But yeah, the dogs are more on edge. Like, I think the dogs are definitely like showing like Pepper's mental state, although she's kind of being like rubbing her arm and looking down, kind of a little bit whiny, kind of that childish a little bit. The dogs are like sticking to her side. They are definitely more on edge. Their fur is still on end, kind of thing. Hackle's still a little raised, so still showing that even though Pepper is acting kind of like this, like deeper in, like she is still pissed.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. Well, with that, you guys start to make your way off towards the eastern side of the gardens. Anastasia kind of gives you a general idea of where you're going. In order to get there, you kind of have to pass by the apiary kind of section as well. So you're able to go past that without any issue. It does not seem as if anybody else was alerted to your fighting this giant bug man. But the memory is still fresh. You can definitely still picture him in your minds as you pass by. So you're able to pass there. It does seem like there is an abnormally large amount of bugs still clinging to the outside of the door. You can see kind of the flies buzzing around as you pass through it. They kind of like, they don't swarm or anything like that, but you can see them pick off from the side of the building and then circle back around and land again. Things like that. It's definitely a little more crowded than when you first got there. But
Flies
you're able
are watching us.
Mm-hmm, they're hanging out, just doing the thing.
Pepper does
be
say,
a fly on a wall.
"Oh no,
No, yeah, it's not you too.
So Pepper does say, "It's like I'm glad I got moths."
Bambi's gonna like tilt her head back and in response to Pepper just be like, please stay out of my fine luxury wool things. I'd appreciate it if they weren't moth-eaten.
She said the same thing last time.
Damn it! I forgot.
Yeah, and she says, no, they drink blood.
And Bambi's just like stares at you for a minute and then just looks away with no further comment.
Yeah, so you guys pass through that section. There is another set of gardens. I can't remember what was in like the top right-hand side of kind of like the quadrants. I know that it was mostly like different groupings of plants and things. But you end up going through like the apiary section just up into that like upper right-hand corner. And that is where the secondary bathysphere station is. So you were able to come in on one side and then when you walk across the gardens, there's the second one that goes to the other side of the city.
So with it being like, one, they are no longer in emergency mode, and two, this is a side of the gardens they really haven't seen yet. Can Pepper like search around?
Sure. Go ahead and roll investigate.
Because she likes flowers. Ooh, I rolled really good. Investigate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is... I just opened the character sheet twice because I'm an idiot. That is a 27.
27. All right. So, yeah, you're able to poke around a little bit. Are you looking for anything in particular, or are you just poking around?
Not anything in particular. I guess, she is super interested in plants kind of thing. Like, duh, it's kind of her thing. So any, like, flowers that she would have seen in, grandfather's books, like, ones that have specific healing properties, maybe remedies, like, use it like a healing kit, I guess.
With a 27, yeah, if you want to kind of decide on a certain type of flower that's kind of you remember it from your grandfather, then we'll go with that. But yeah, you are able to find this kind of flower that you recognize from your grandfather and the notes that your grandfather had and things like that.
So she looks at it and she looks up and says, "Look, I found this." Holds it up, and then she looks Klaus dead ass, and she goes, "It cures frostbite."
Oh, well, I suppose that could be useful.
Anyways.
It is quite cold under the ocean, after all.
That's all she says about that.
Yeah. So with that, you can add that to your items. I would say they would probably be made into like some sort of salve or something like that. So in order to use them, you will need to have a small block of uninterrupted time just to be able to do with those what you need to do in order to make them usable. So go ahead and add them to your items.
How many?
And then,
how many do I find?
we'll say you find 4 blossoms.
Okay.
So you're able to take those with you.
While Pepper
yeah.
is poking around, Bambi knows that she could probably poke around and find something, but instead she takes the time to express her joy for going to the entertainment district by lightly singing and dancing next to Klaus. And she is singing, it is called Bright Lights, Late Nights by the Speakeasy Swing Band.
Nice.
I posted a link in chat for anybody that's curious.
Love it. Klaus is just dancing along.
Does Klaus know how to swing dance properly?
Swing dance, probably not. But he's tried the best he can.
Can Klaus at least boogie?
I feel like because Klaus is gonna have to pull from Niklaus's knowledge, so probably formally like ballroom dancing trained, but might not have had swing or boogie.
Okay, all right. Well, she does her best to try with him. She's a very good dancer.
Maybe he's like doing this like improvised cha-cha to it or something.
I love it. Okay.
So I learned actually that cha-cha came from swing. So
Interesting.
yeah, Galaglass actually was a ballroom dance teacher. So
Neat.
he
Very
told me
cool.
that. So okay, that's all.
I love ballroom history, but this is neither the time nor place to get into it.
I am so sorry. My ADHD brain was like, here's this fact. So what I'm saying is that it probably works okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's all like the same rhythm. As long as you're not
It's
on a
true.
3 count and I'm on a 4 count, you're fine.
Yeah.
Anyways, they're dancing. that's what the entire conversation is.
Perfect. They are dancing and it's beautiful and lovely. Sid takes the opportunity to kind of poke around a little bit. She doesn't find anything. She's not sitting down digging through bushes or anything like that. So she doesn't find anything of real necessity or anything like that. Anastasia also takes a quick peek around. And like the other sections, there is kind of like a little main hub in this set of gardens where there's like supplies, some tools and things like that. Kind of like just a little stopover for anybody who worked there to be able to place supplies and things like that. So she's able to open that. And she finds this place has been run through a million times. There's not a whole lot in there. She's able to pick up a couple spare parts, and there are like melee weapons, like blunt objects, pruning shears, things like that. If you guys want to take anything like that, she personally does not, but the option is there if you need an extra an extra weapon or anything like that. You're certainly welcome to take it, but other than that, not really anything else.
Pruning shears, you say?
Pruning shears, yeah.
Shouldn't have said shit.
How much damage do those do?
We're in a garden, so it makes sense that there are pruning
This is
shears.
a Wendy's.
Oh, can Bambi pick up like one of those tiny little plant shovels?
A spade?
A spade?
you mean?
Yeah, I don't know anything about gardening.
I
Tiny
love
little
that.
plant shovel.
I love that name better. That's what they should be called.
I'm gonna cry. I'm laughing so hard.
I absolutely love that. And you know what, Yasmin? There is a tiny little plant shovel. There is, in fact, a tiny little plant shovel that you can take if you would like.
Bambi will pick it up, and like I just imagine her being like the background character for like Pepper, who's like very smartly harvesting items, and Sid who's poking around, and Bambi's in the background going.
Perfect.
Klaus is just right there next to her, like doing this. The shears open and closed, going. Ah.
I imagine Pepper wandering back over once they're done fucking around and and being completely legit. It's like, oh, fertilizer that can mask our scent from the animals.
And Bambi just like stops and stares at you again with that blank, vacant expression.
What?
Sorry,
Bam.
how much damage do the shears do?
I'm trying to decide based on like the size of them, how much damage if you gave them like a real good stab.
I'm
Let's
imagining
say-
like the one that takes 2 hands to open and close. Is that
Yeah.
what you're talking-
Yeah.
Okay.
like the longer blades, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But consider, Vanessa, a
Yes.
scythe.
A scythe.
Would
I
they
don't-
have a scythe?
Yeah, I don't
They
think
have
so because
trees.
they're not harvesting a whole lot. Most of the garden is for flowers and bushes and things like that.
That's
So I
totally
think
fair.
pruning shears would probably be a more reasonable find. Let's go, because of the length of the blade on them, let's say because a gun can be reloaded and each bullet is 1d6, let's do 1d8 for these massive pruning shears.
Okay.
Just to keep things a little fun, you know?
Snap off them fingers.
Yeah. Take off a whole hand. Let's see. Yeah, but I think we should stop giving weapons to Klaus.
I mean,
Saying that since the
agree.
beginning.
What? No, it's fine.
It's all right. All right.
Everything's okay.
So you guys take a moment to dance, find some pruning shears, things of that sort, and then are you set to go again?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. You guys are done singing and dancing.
I mean,
Opening
it's
and
not
closing your.
raining. If it
opening-
happens to go cacao and start raining on us, I have another song.
Well, luckily for you, there is no rain, because if there were rain, it would mean that the entire place is cracking open and the
There-
ocean is spilling in.
There could be like a drip or a humidify, like a mist system for watering plants.
Yeah, the irrigation system is through the ground. So technically, yes, it's like a sprinkler, I suppose. But I would just like to refresh your memory. Like 30 seconds ago, when the irrigation system came on, there was toxin in there. So I
you're
don't know
right.
how, yeah. I don't know how good an idea that is, given the circumstances. But anyway, moving on.
Valid.
You guys start to go ahead again, and then the like I said, the secondary bathysphere system is up in the top right corner, and you are able to get there without issue. The circumstances allow for you to do so without encountering anybody else. There is no rain preventing you from continuing on, and you get there, and it's fine. The system is much like the ones that you've seen so far, very, very much the same. The only difference being that the designs, the motifs kind of surrounding the gates and the pieces on the inside all have kind of like a floral look to them, like vines, the imprint of vines and different flowers and blooms and blossoms and things like that, just to kind of fit the aesthetic of the gardens. Make it look a little prettier and a little more welcoming. But yeah, it's much the same. You guys are able to get in there. The doors aren't locked or anything like that, and you see that there is a bathysphere docked and ready for you.
Bambi will just like strut her way into the, like, with that, like, she's got the music playing in her head, and she's kind of doing the bum bum ba da 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 kind of thing as she's like shuffling into the bathysphere.
So, Pepper does kind of say to Anastasia, it's like, let's make sure that he stays away from the controls this time, because she has not forgotten the bullshit.
Yeah, and Anastasia is much of the same mind. She was going to say the exact same thing. She kind of motions Pepper for you to follow the rest of the group into the bathysphere. Sid is kind of like trailing along behind Bambi, waiting for Klaus to catch up. And yeah, she's like, hey, you know, go keep your eye on them while I do what I have to do in this little control room, and get everything set up for us. Just to make sure that, you know, he doesn't haul the fucking sensors out of it anymore.
As you're having that conversation, Klaus just comes running up from behind the group of people, shears in hand, going, I'm running with scissors!
No.
As
runs into the thing.
As you run past, Anastasia says, As a former nurse, I feel like it is my job to tell you not to run with scissors, but, if you were to fall and perhaps stab yourself with them, then that would be a shame, wouldn't it?
That would be hilarious. I don't know what you're talking about.
Give it a try.
Maybe next time. We've got to go.
I just picture him like, no, disappearing into the bathysphere.
Yep, pretty much.
What? No! What do you have? A knife! Okay. Oh, bye. Yeah, so Pepper, do you follow them in?
Yeah, and she will sit right by I guess where the sensors are supposed to be. Because she has learned. Fool me once, shame on you.
Fool me twice. Still shame on you, because you're a shitty person, Klaus. Stop tricking people.
Stop being a
hey.
dick.
We got 5 readings, so we get another D6.
Perfect.
That'll put us up to 9.
Awesome. So yeah, Anastasia kind of disappears into that little the little section that holds most of the main controls. Just make sure that everything is good on that end. Let me just. Yep, everything is good on her end, and she follows you into the bathysphere. The door closes. You guys are able to turn the hatch so that it's nice and tight. And then, yeah, the bathysphere, much like every other ride that you've taken, kind of the section behind opens up to allow the water to come in and kind of like repressurize, and then the bathysphere is out. And you guys are on your way again. This route in particular is, it's not one of the main routes in and out of the entertainment district. That kind of mostly comes from the hub at the beginning of the welcome center area, kind of where all of those pieces meet back up. So that's mostly where you're getting a lot of the main traffic when this route was kind of booming, when everybody was not a crazy splicer. You don't see many of the splicers just taking the public transit these days. So you guys are pretty free going. But yeah, so this bathysphere is a little bit smaller. It's not as fancy or large as the main routes, but it does take you from the garden up to the main entertainment kind of little center or section of the city. Yeah, so it doesn't take you very long to get there at all. Not like the bigger bathyspheres with more capacity that kind of take a little bit longer to go their route. It's very quick, very easy. You guys see a different part of the city this time. You can see that in architecture and in structure, most of the stuff is pretty spot on to what you've seen before. But you can see from the outside there are different neon signs advertising what the buildings are as you pass by. So, there's different, I imagine like some of them have the very small animation to them where it's like this part lights up and then this part lights up and goes back and forth. So different things like that, just kind of demonstrating what is inside. And then as you come up on the entertainment district itself, it's a lot flashier and a lot showier on the outside, despite the fact that obviously, not a lot of people are on the outside of the building. You can see that this section still has all of the bells and whistles as if, it were a building on the street that you were to pass by, and the outside is just as beautiful as on the inside. They really made a point to say, hey, listen, we're not going to go all out on just the inside. We want this to be like the beacon. New citizens are coming down into the city and they're going to want to go to the entertainment district. So let's go the whole 9 yards. The outside is decorated just as beautiful as on the inside. We've got all of these facets and, marble kind of carved decorative pieces on the outside of the buildings and stuff like that. Very, very beautiful. Do you
And
guys have
Argenteuus
any
was,
sort of...
like their big moneymaker as well. Like,
Yeah,
marketing
definitely
things.
one of the pulls of being an Exodus, right? Is like, you know, there's not as many rules down here as there were on the top side. Like, you can come down, this is a place for you to enjoy yourself. So we're gonna give you something to enjoy, right? This is our shining achievement. You're gonna come down here, you're gonna want to spend all of your time with us here at the entertainment district. Like, this is what we've built for you. Kind of outlook on this, right? So it's absolutely gorgeous still on the outside, even with its age. Do you guys say anything on the way there, or is it a relatively quiet ride?
Or getting Pepper just sees it and she's just like wide-eyed. Remember, she hasn't seen it before. She was not allowed to go here. So she's just kind of presses herself kind of against the window, going, "Whoa."
Bambi is right there, also pressed up against the window. She's seen this view 100 times, and she still loves it. And her eyes are wide like a kid in a candy store, and she glances at Pepper, and she glances back at this beautiful skyline, and the decorum of the exterior of this building. And she just is like, oh, it feels so good to come home.
It's so pretty.
Klaus has that bloody bag of kumquats and has opened it up and is just eating them like popcorn while looking out the window.
Gross.
What?
The fruit's fine. It's the bag that's bloody.
Gross. I know way too much about bloodborne pathogens to be okay.
Every Wednesday, my will to live leaves me just a little bit more.
The fruit's fine. It's not bloody, and like the blood of the bag is dried. It's fine. It's fine.
That's not how that works, but okay.
Oh no! Okay.
I wonder what happens if you consume the altered DNA of another being.
Well, I did say that the Borzoi kind of have some residual stronger than normal dog or smarter than normal dog because of eating splicers. So
Yeah. Now,
I mean,
that
maybe
being
it'll help
said, that's a
Klaus.
long time exposure.
yeah, that's true.
I think Bambi's probably in that same boat then
Yeah.
with the blood splatter.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So
We're all
Anastasia-
mad here.
yeah, Anastasia sees you doing this and she looks a little green around the gills. As you know, she too would probably have some opinions on this, what being a nurse and all that. But she, of course, does not stop you from doing so, because she's not your mother. So you are free, sir, to do whatever you like, Klaus. Yeah. So if oh my goodness, English today, wow. Let's try that again. If everything is relatively quiet, there you go. As you guys kind of approach this building, oh my God, that was embarrassing. I promise you, I do know how to speak English.
You're good.
Okay, as you guys approach the building, you come into the little docking station. It's kind of set further down into the building, and you kind of get the feeling that it's intentionally done this way so that it doesn't interrupt the beauty of the building. So you know, the unseemly things are poked down behind. The little section where it docks is kind of underneath everything else so that it doesn't interrupt the beauty that you're seeing. But that being said, the dock itself is still quite beautiful. So much in the same way that the Garden of Eden kind of dressed up their bathysphere docking system with the different motifs of flowers and things like that, just to kind of give you a sense of integrating the bathysphere system into the rest of the architecture, it's still very beautiful. Like the dock itself, you can tell that they've put in effort and time to make it just as appealing as the thought of the entertainment district. Because after all, this is still something that they are presenting. People would still have to come through here. So as you dock into the bathysphere station, you know, the light fixtures, even like the detail in the light fixtures is hand done. You can tell it, all of the detailing was very intentional and took a lot of time. Whereas, you know, you think of Bathysphere Station, especially the one at the main hub, probably not that attention to detail. That's not the focal point of the system. But here at the entertainment district, even the smallest of details count. So you can still see that as visible, despite the fact that the docking bay is kind of hidden. But yeah, so you guys dock successfully. Like I said, it seems to be pretty smooth sailing. Whether that is a good or bad thing remains to be seen. But for right now, there's nothing stopping you guys. It docks in, the decompression kind of happens, the water is filtered out, and you are able to open the door.
Actually, they're Borzoi, not Dachshund.
I thought that's what you said.
Oh, ow.
Oh God, I get it.
That was a me level pun.
So anyway, I'm glad to have all you guys with us today. Thank you for joining in. I feel like I make that joke every single time and it never gets old.
It's true. It doesn't.
No.
It is. As soon as we're docked, Klaus is running off like, I don't know, a dozen steps or so, and then makes like the cartoon like skidding to a stop on his heels, and turns around and goes, "Oh wait, you're gonna show me where to get clothes." Looking at Bambi.
Bambi exits. Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, before Bambi exits, Klaus, could you please roll awareness for me, please?
Yeah, 1 second. Awareness. Oh, I'm actually decent at that. That is a 15.
15? No, you don't hear anything. Bambi, what were you gonna say?
Bambi was she was going to much more gracefully and slowly slink out of the bathysphere, kind of just taking everything in before very like almost like liquid or like a cat gliding up the walkway.
The image of like a very slinky cat is always such like a very cool imagery. Even though it's like so simple, you know? But
Yep.
it gives you such a clear image. I love when things are able to do that so simply. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
I imagine her, I don't know if you saw like the old Pepe Le Pew
Yeah.
cartoons. I imagine her like the
Yeah.
big white long fur cat
Mhm.
that Pepe is always like trying to get after, and she's just like, oh no, honey. Like being in the entertainment district gives her this incredible sense of confidence and smoothness as now that she's here, because she knows this area the best. She essentially grew up in the entertainment district.
Well, this is Bambi's stomping grounds. This is where she shines.
Exactly.
I would just like to remind you though, with your stomping grounds, of course, comes the ever-present tingle in the back of your mind that whispers to you every now and then and says, these stomping grounds don't only belong to you.
She doesn't have emotions for it yet. She's holding on to that last glimmer of confidence Like,
Let me live my life, damn it.
but I mean, like, her confidence is definitely, especially because of her vendetta for Vixen, she's overcompensating with it. Like this is her stomping grounds. She's the one with seniority. She's been here longer. She's suffered longer. She deserves it more kind of mentality. So right now she's holding on to the sake of all these things that she deserves to feel confident in this moment. But believe me, the rage is there.
I love it. Yeah, so Klaus is kind of rushing away from the bathysphere. What about you, Bambi? What kind of demeanor do you have as you kind of approach, kind of take off from the bathysphere as you're moving forward? Are you more kind of concerned with your own motion, with how you feel, or are you kind of taking in the surroundings as well?
She is a little bit of both, because she's so familiar with the entertainment district that she also knows what despicable things have happened since the fall of Exodus.
All right.
And
So,
as beautiful as it is, there are still vipers waiting in the garden that she so wants to go and enjoy, but can't.
vipers or vixens? Who knows? Go ahead and roll awareness for me.
Okay. It's thinking. 22, unnaturally.
Mm-hmm. So, as you approach to where Klaus is standing, you hear something very, very faintly as you move further into this little docking bay. There is a door that leads out of it, so that door is closed as well, but you can just barely hear something beyond that door. It sounds vaguely like a voice, but you cannot make out any words. What about you, Pepper? How are you feeling?
She's extremely like sheepish and cautious. Like, this is a whole area of Exodus that she's been banned from coming from. So all of her hunting and everything has been everywhere but here, because I feel like there's still that kind of ingrained, like, no, that's like, I know that pretty much nobody here was Christian, but this is the place of sin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I rather her grandfather be more, it's a place that inspired sloth and wastefulness and, people who waste their lives away and who do nothing good.
A capital of deception and deceit, essentially.
And
debauchery.
more just slothfulness. That was, I think, the biggest thing that her grandfather pushed, was just like, you're wasting your time if you are spending your time doing things for yourself, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, there's way better ways to spend your time. Oh, we all know those kinds of people.
Boy, do I have a chip on my shoulder for those kinds of people. I
am so sorry.
But it's outlandishly inappropriate even for our game.
All right, that's probably a story for another time then. Yeah, so Pepper, do you follow suit? Anastasia kind of steps out of the bathysphere and moves in as well. Do you follow her?
Yeah, I follow Anastasia, but she's like a little bit slower, while like Bambi and Klaus are just like all hippity hopping around or whatever the fuck. She's just kind of more like sheepish, and the dogs are like pressing close to her side and things like that.
I can imagine it in the way that Pepper does, is like Klaus is like a puppy dog that is just like bolted out the door, and Bambi is like this like super curvy cat, and Pepper's like a tiny little rabbit that keeps like looking around, and Anastasia's like the alley cat that's like fuzzy hair.
Oh my god.
Either that or a zookeeper.
Yeah, zookeeper.
One holding
That's- yeah.
leashes to everyone, just looking exhausted from walking all these dogs, bro.
Yep.
Right.
I picture Pepper more as like the cat that immediately lies on the ground and you put the harness on it, and so you have to like drag it around.
Oh no!
My cat does that. The moment you put the harness on him, he's just like, well, this looks like a lovely place to rest. But yeah,
So
okay.
funny.
So Pepper, you can go ahead and roll awareness for me as well.
Absolutely.
And then as well as Anastasia, she begins to hear what it is that Bambi hears, but she's still a little bit further away, so it's not as distinct.
24.
24. Same with you. As you kind of get closer to Bambi, you can start to hear this voice. Like I said, nothing distinct, no words or anything like that, but you start to hear it as well. It's coming from the other side of the door, out of the little area. Yeah.
So I think that Pepper does like look at Anastasia with these eyes, like wider eyes, like, because I don't know, how often do you have like the splicers just talk to each other? Like, do you think, do they really talk to each other much, or?
Depends on the splicer, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because you guys have seen some of them in pairs, but just as a general rule, they tend to kind of roam around by themselves, because you have to remember they're still looking for whatever little bits of cane that they can consume, right? Because it's a drug to them. They're addicted to it, just as you guys have started to become addicted to it. So their bodies are relying on this substance that they cannot really get much of anymore. So if you see another person who could potentially have what you are addicted to, and that total just blind eye, that's what I need, comes over you, you're probably not going to stop and make small talk with them. So it's probably more rare to see large groups of them. So as of right now, you only hear the one voice. It just sounds like one person talking to you.
So she pauses, looks at Anastasia, and she asks, "Radio?"
About the same time as when Bambi reaches out and like puts a hand on the back of Klaus's shoulder, and is just like almost, I don't have the right way to say it, but like when you stop somebody and it's all in the body language of like, hey, hold on. In that way, like without saying anything, she's trying to get Klaus's attention to take a second. I mean, I don't know if it works.
Sure. Klaus is still waiting for Bambi to show him where the clothing stores are, and that's pretty much all his brain is focused on. So he stops. It's like, yes.
She very delicately puts her finger to her lips, and she's going to point in the direction that she's hearing the voice.
Klaus, sort of, the spark of understanding comes in his eyes, and he just grabs the pair of shears and sort of crouches down and gets this wicked grin on his face and starts tiptoeing over towards where the sound's coming from.
She just rolls her eyes and gives Klaus a wide berth. He can come in contact with it first.
Yeah, Sid is there with you, Bambi, kind of keeping her distance as well, as she kind of comes up behind you and Klaus as Klaus starts to move away. You can tell that, you know, she's prepared to follow after him, but also being a little cautious as well. But yeah, so you guys are starting to move towards this door. You can hear a voice on the other side. And just Klaus, as you get close to this door, you just hear the voice. It's a lot easier to kind of understand what's happening. You still can't really pick out very many words. But the voice changes, and it's kind of like, you know the way you would talk to like a pet or a baby, with the tone of voice, like, oh, cuckoo, little baby, that's the kind of vibe that you're getting from this voice on the other side. It's very like delicate, like yeah, exactly, kind of deal, right?
God,
like,
I think I remember this part.
It's just a little baby, and that's what you hear as you come up on this door. And I think that's probably where we're gonna take a break, if that's okay with you guys.
Perfect. All right. So yeah, we're gonna take a 15-minute break. So definitely go stretch your legs, move around a bit, grab yourself a snack and hydrate and all that good stuff. But be right back here in 15 minutes because we will be right back. And we're back.
Hello.
Thanks for hanging out while we were on break. Okay, the music just did a weird thing. That's fine. So when we left off, Klaus was sneaking up on the door, right?
Yes.
All right.
So yeah, and we mentioned as well that as you get closer, the tone of the voice kind of shifts a little bit, and it sounds more like someone would talk to a pet or a baby, kind of like the little coo voice. Oh, he's so cute, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the only voice that you hear coming from the other side of the door. Doesn't sound like there's anybody else there.
I have a question.
Sure.
Would Bambi at all recognize these behaviors?
These behaviors. No.
Okay.
This just sounds like some crazy lady just making the little baby voice.
Bambi's gonna, she's still slinky, make it up to Klaus, and she'll tap him on the shoulder and do the stay quiet for a minute expression. Is the door's closed, right?
Odds or evens?
Odds.
It's odds, so it's cracked open a little bit. You don't have to make any noise to push it open.
Is there enough of a gap in the door for Bambi to peek through?
Peek through, yes. I won't make you roll for it. You see a hallway, primarily. There's like a little hallway that's connecting this door to the rest of the building. So as of right now, from where you are with just this little amount of space, you can't see the source of the voice, just the hallway.
Okay.
Klaus says,
Bam-
stays quiet, by the way. Just gives
Oh,
Bambi a
cool.
look that just says, like, oh, you're no fun, but stays quiet.
Can we still hear the voice? It hasn't run off?
No, the voice is still there. She's still, you can obviously tell that it is a female voice.
Bambi's going to weasel up to the door, making sure that it doesn't make any noises as she pushes it in, and she's going to sing Rockabye Baby using her plasmid. The siren one. And that's for one target within earshot, right?
Yes. I'm going to get you to roll accuracy for me. I'm going to see if this woman is of the mind to be able to hear you right now.
Valid.
Ooh.
27.
Yes. The voice kind of falls silent for a moment as you begin to sing. But then you hear her begin to mumble again. It's the same kind of cooing voice, like this very cutesy baby voice. So you are aware that she has heard you and that she is caught up in this thrall that you have, but she's still kind of speaking over top of it.
All right. So Bambi's going to just adjust her volume a little bit, and she's going to open the door and very gently walk into the hallway.
It's like,
All right.
Pepper's just like, do we have to go after every crazy voice we hear?
Well, this is the only way to go. I mean, Bambi can't say that, but Bambi's singing Rockabye Baby.
Klaus is just, quietly following behind Bambi, but might shoot a look over his shoulder and be like, who are you calling crazy? Like, you want to talk.
I don't know Rockabye Baby enough to actually sing it, guys. I only know, like, the first verse.
Yeah, me too.
It's okay.
So kind of as you, Klaus and Pepper are interacting, Anastasia takes her pistol out again and kind of same deal, points it at the ground, starts moving forward very cautiously.
So, sorry,
go ahead.
No,
No,
I was
go
just going to say, Bambi just progresses forward towards or down this hallway or whatever. She's hoping that her enthrallment is strong enough that they could probably just walk past or, you know, decapitate her on the way through.
It's better than
Fair.
DiCaprio-tating.
My brain my brain lampooned that in like far left field.
Ooh.
I think they'd have to fall asleep for that, because then we would go deeper. We're DiCaprio-nating it.
Or, you know, at least drown him in cold water. Too soon?
All right, you know what? As the GM of this game, I'm taking control back. No more of those. Stop it. Stop it. Not again. We're not going down this road again. How close is everybody behind Bambi? You see her start to move further in. Does that make you quicken your pace? Do you kind of let her go?
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Sorry, I'm just laughing to the thing that is in Zoom chat. Don't worry about it.
Focus, you gremlins.
Anyways, no, I mean Pepper is probably like closer to the back because I mean Bambi is right there in the charge, and Pepper's still being really sheepish and still probably sticking by Anastasia's side.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
And
I guess
Klaus?
the order there.
Klaus just falling right behind Bambi.
Okay.
Shears in
And
hand.
then Sydney is probably pretty close on your heels as well, Klaus.
Okay.
All right, so we've got Bambi leading the charge. We've got Klaus, then Sydney, and then we have Anastasia and Pepper at the rear of the group. All right, so as you guys push into this hallway and continue down, Bambi, like I said, you can feel that this plasmid has worked. You can feel that this person is under your thrall, but like I said, she continues to kind of make this cooing sound as if talking to a child or a small pet. We don't know. But yeah, it's very strange because typically these people kind of stop dead in their tracks when they hear you, right?
Yeah.
So it's really
little
intriguing. Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Bambi probably quickens her pace a little bit because her plasmid does have, well, it depends on how strongly willed the person is, but it does have a timer to a point. And so she quickens her pace because at least, even if it's enthralled or whatever it is, she can GTFO without it realizing that they're there.
All right, so as you quicken your pace, roll stealth for me.
Oh God. Bambi's not wearing heels. Just so you know. She's lost for
Okay.
heels.
An important note, I guess.
Miserable.
Oh my god, I just had this amazing image of
7!
something.
Oh, I was
warned
gonna.
you.
Oh,
I was looking to see what modifier I had to add. I rolled a 14, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so as you quicken your pace, despite the fact that you no longer have your heels, whatever it is, you know, you shift your weight wrong, you kick a rock, something like that. The voice as of right now is kind of disembodied. But as you kind of come around the corner, you finally see the person that the voice belongs to. And as you do so, you kick a rock or whatever it is. And she's alerted that you are there. And she kind of stops her mumbled kind of cooing to turn around to look at you. I'm gonna get you. Actually, what do you think? How bad is Bambi's brain in the stream of kind of remembering things or recognizing things, for example?
Oh God. It really depends on what it is. Anything that has to do with her personally, her career, whatever, Bambi is like a hawk. She can remember it, recall it, perfectly fine. When it comes to literally anything else that has absolutely nothing to do with her, she's like, la, dust for brains.
Okay. Then that answers my question perfectly. So, in that case, as this woman turns around to face you, a little light bulb goes off right above your head, like a little cartoon light bulb. And as she turns to you, you see her features, the way she's dressed. For the entertainment district, this is what you would assume to find here. She's dressed in kind of like, it's not like a lavish kind of dress, but it's more so suited to that lifestyle. It's something that you would have seen here in the entertainment district a lot. You recognize she's got her blonde hair pulled up on top of her head. Maybe once upon a time the hairdo was really pretty. Now her hair has like fallen out in patches, so there's only like a little bit up in the hairstyle. You recognize her right away as she turns around and looks at you and goes, "Is that Bambi, darling?" And you recognize this as Polly, who actually worked with you in your lounge, the one that you were working in when Vixen came to town. So this is someone who would have known you, would have been quite friendly to you. She was a friend, somebody positive, but now she's standing in front of you and there's all of these like remnants of that life that you had. But she is falling to pieces before your very eyes. She's missing clumps of hair. Her skin is sagging. She's got sores on her hands. Her dress is raggedy and torn. And she is clearly no longer the person that she once was. But she recognizes you and she knows you as Bambi, and she kind of looks at you with this smile spreading across her face, and the recognition is there. And that's something that you've not seen in the Splicers so far.
And since the beginning of the fall, I don't think that she would have felt recognized. Bambi stops singing. She is so shook. She's at first shocked by what she's seeing, for a multitude of reasons that we'll probably address in a little bit. But she is also the rapture of being recognized as who she once was, kind of thing. Like it hits her like a wall, and like this entire like persona that she's built since the fall of Exodus sort of falls away, and her smile lights up on her face, and she's got like that like it's again that coin flip, and she goes back to that long fur white cat slinky like performer that she was. And she straightens up, and like her voice increases and register, and she's just like, Polly, darling, oh my God, it's so good to see you. And like, anybody else that's listened to Bambi long enough knows that this is an act, like a painful, self-delusional act. She's trying so hard to hold on to what once was, that she's completely fucked everybody's safety.
I love that. So yeah, as you put on like this, the coin flip, and suddenly Bambi's back to this facade that she always wears. It's like when you drop the spell, essentially the plasmid, Polly blinks at you very, very slowly and kind of like tilts her head to the side. And you can see, even as she does this action, like the way that her skin is pulled so unnaturally, like her eye is drooping to the side. You've seen this in so many splicers that have come before her. And you can recognize that, this is not the Polly that you knew. She's absolutely worse for wear. The only parts of her that remain from what you would have known are the tattered dress, which it doesn't seem as worse for wear as some of the people that you've seen so far, which kind of gives you the impression that Polly maybe held out a little bit longer than everybody else did. Maybe her fall wasn't so immediate. But the way the fall happened, the Civil War, things like that, you really had to do whatever you could to survive, to really keep a leg up on everybody else who was trying to survive. So it's kind of that feeling that you get that maybe she was trying to hold on her own 2 feet as best she could with her own knowledge and her own strength. But as time kind of progressed and things got worse, that was no longer possible for her. So she's not as, with her clothes at least, she's not in as horrible a state as everybody else. But you can see just the absolute deformity of what was once this absolutely beautiful woman, friend of yours. They had to be pretty to be your friends, right?
Of course.
Of course, that your entourage had to be
standards.
Naturally, that's just the way it was. So you can kind of still pick out these bits and pieces that correlate to that picture in your mind of what Polly used to be, but now it's just not. And she, once that recognition is there, she says, Bambi, darling, oh my gosh, her eyes kind of seem to deaden a little bit, like that light of recognition kind of fades. And she goes back to cooing over, it seems like a baby carriage that she has here.
Bambi, damn. Bambi's got a little bit of shell shock. Bambi's going to try and sing using her plasmid again because she had to stop. Just for 2 reasons. One, she doesn't want to alert this far gone splicer, but 2, she really just wants to see her friend's eyes light up again. Just to
that we didn't expect to get sad at Exodus today.
Drive that dagger further into the heart. And she does a really, it's almost like she's having a hard time pulling the words together, but she can carry a tune. It's a little cracked and it's a little tearful, but she sings probably in A minor rather than the song that's being sung now. But she sings Gimme That Swing by Sissy Redgwick. But if you can imagine that in an A minor tone as she's just trying to see her friend again and get everybody else to safety and make up for her fumble.
So as you said, you're trying to shove that knife in just a little deeper. And here's the twist of the knife. We as players know that once a hold has been broken on an individual subject, they can no longer be entranced. Bambi does not know this. She's killed everybody so far, right?
Yeah.
So as she begins to sing, very, very beautifully done, this plasmid is filling everything that she's singing, amplifying that power, kind of leaks some of that, that intention that she has leaks into her voice. And for all intents and purposes, this is supposed to work. This splicer is now supposed to be under her thrall, but you quickly realize that that's not happening. You let her go, and now she has returned to her own kind of little world again. She's draped over this baby carriage, cooing at whatever is inside, and there are no baby cries coming from this carriage. So to have a child in a state like this, it seems pretty unbelievable, really. But she pays no attention to you. When she looks back up at you again, that same dead look is in her eyes, and she kind of looks annoyed at you. Like, why are you making noise? I'm here with my baby. I'm trying to speak to my baby. You're making noise. And that annoyance kind of turns to anger as she straightens back up. And now she's looking defensive.
Bambi, so Bambi's used two plasmids. She's down to 3 uses again. She realizes what's going on. And she sniffles a little bit and just swallows her voice and her song back, tightening her grip on her microphone and backing up into Klaus.
Klaus is just like, so, are we going forward? Are we, what are we doing?
Bambi stutters at you. She doesn't have words.
Klaus just kind of standing there looking like, what do you want me to do?
She's like, and Bambi's gonna make a split decision, and microphone tight in hand, she literally sprints down the hall trying to pass the splicer as far away from possible.
So I have like a little map drawn here of the layout of the building. This little hallway and where the splicer is positioned. There are a couple of steps down from the hallway and onto this little landing. And there's a door on either side of the landing. They're just door frames. There's no doors actually in them. It just, you would walk through. And then in the middle section between the doors is like this lattice of plants growing up. And then there's probably like a little bench in front of it, which is long since fallen apart and it's overgrown and things like that. But she's planted firmly kind of in this little section where the bench was, and there are 2 doors on either side of her. So either way, you have to pass close enough to her to get to one of these doors.
Bambi cannot bring herself to strike her. So she is going to just do her best to like kind of like do like a wiggle and duck and pass around this woman.
Klaus will just run right behind Bambi and use the ice plasma to try to freeze this lady into place.
Pepper just looks at Anastasia like, what the fuck am I just seeing?
What just happened?
Anastasia looks similarly confused. Like she's very taken off guard by the way Bambi is acting, just because she knows from what she's seen that Bambi is usually the strike first, ask questions later kind of.
She's a bloodthirsty hoe.
Yeah, pretty much. So the fact that now she is kind of straying from that typical pattern has her confused. She's not quite sure what's happening. Obviously, she knows that these two people obviously know each other, have known each other at some point. So she has the empathy within her to recognize, like, this is going to be hard if you two knew each other. She doesn't know how you know each other, so she doesn't know what degree that falls to. But she still has some sympathy for you in her heart. She knows that it's hard. She's had to kind of put those feelings away too. So she raises her pistol in front of her rather than pointing it at the ground, and she sees Bambi try to move past, and Klaus as well, and then Sydney is on their heels as well. And she's trying to decide if she wants to make the shot or not. But Bambi, as you pass, you kind of see in Polly's face that shift from having some semblance of a mind left to kind of that crazy glint that you've seen in all of the splicers come before her. That kind of just like, yeah, the switch flips essentially. And she makes a lunge for you because you're closer and you moved first. So she makes a lunge for you.
Baby's gonna dodge.
Did the with Klaus using the freezing plasmid, do I need to roll for that, and would she then not be able to do so?
Yeah, so you can intervene here. Because you are all moving, I'm going to need an accuracy for you. And I am going to dodge with disadvantage because she's not focused on you at all.
Nat 20.
Oh,
so
okay.
My accuracy's 8, so 28 with a nat 20.
Okay. So go ahead and explain to me what you'd like to do. How does the situation pan out in your eyes?
As soon as Klaus sees Bambi, like, just trying to run past the splicer, he's just gonna, like, freeze ray the splicer so that they can get by and just yell back something like, you know, last one's a rotten egg or something like that. I don't know.
So when you say freeze splicer, are you talking about feet like Pepper, or are you talking whole splicer?
Splicer pop.
Probably splicer pop. Since it still doesn't do a whole lot of damage, I think he's probably thinking like just freeze her so that she can't follow or attack for a little bit, but not lethal.
Okay. You do successfully do what you set out to do. But because okay, so your intention is not to harm her then.
No, not really looking to hurt her. Just like it could be like a Spider-Man type deal where it's like, you know, hit the ankles and the wrists so that, you know, this person can't move until they're
sticker to the wall kind of deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Until the stuff falls out.
Yeah. In that case, because you hit your nat 20, typically that's like a crit. You would do double damage, but since you're not aiming to do double damage or any damage at all, we'll just go with your intention, which is to make sure that she stays in place. Yeah, you hit her full on. You're able to do so even while she's moving, while you were moving as well. And she, much like what happened with Pepper's feet, where she was rooted in place and that ice kind of traveled up her leg a little bit, that's kind of what happens here as well. Polly is hit head on with this plasmid, and her whole body coats itself in ice. And she is rooted to the ground. And you can see through the layer of ice over her face, just this twisted expression. And like I said, when Bambi was looking at her, you can see in her face and in the twisting of her features that there's none of that recognition left anymore. She's completely splicer mode. But I'll also get you to roll awareness for me.
Okay. Nope. It's 10 total.
Okay, Bambi, do you want to roll awareness for me? Because you're right there with him.
Yes. Wait, let me double check and make sure I've got the right one.
In fact, it's a very small space and we all have to go through it. Pepper, Anastasia, and Sid, we'll all roll awareness for you. Somebody has to hit it, right?
25.
Okay. Yeah, Anastasia got a 26, so that's fine. We all get it. Bambi, as you are passing by, and I'll get your kind of thoughts on seeing Polly freeze in front of you. But as you are starting to run by, Niklaus doesn't recognize it, but you see propped up against this vine wall in the back of Polly, just behind where her baby carriage is, there's a Tommy gun propped up right against the wall. And I saw that Michael called this in the chat, and it made me laugh a lot because I had been planning this the whole time, just because Raven has been so dead set on having her Tommy gun. So good guess, Michael. Good job to you. There is, in fact, a Tommy gun propped up against the wall.
Oh my god.
Shoot. Bambi's got a lot of feels, guys. Bambi observing Polly does not see any recognition anymore, correct?
Yes. Total splicer mode. She's dead in the eyes.
Can I roll resistance?
Sure.
To the effects of my plasmid?
Yeah.
Because I'm caught between a character action and a Bambi action.
Mm-hmm.
Because duplicitous characters.
I'm trying to remember what the DC was set for. I guess it doesn't matter. What did you roll?
I got a 5.
A 5, yeah, it doesn't hit anyway.
For the sake of storytelling, we're going to select violent outburst.
Yeah.
So Bambi has used 2 of her plasmid slots that she has, or not slots, but like actions that she has available. And the strain from having to, attempting to start this hypnosis or this thralling effect again, weakens her ability to stave off the own effects of plasmid. And seeing her friend absolutely just go slack in the eyes, and not being, it's like a brutal reminder of what she's already experienced. And rather than be filled with some detrimental amount of compassion for somebody that's no longer alive anymore, as she's passing and Klaus freezes her, she turns around, recognizes what's going on, and in a split second turns around and strikes out with her wire mace microphone weapon, because her friend's not there. It was an illusion. It was a hallucination. There's nobody left. There's nobody home, and she's fucking mad about it. What would you like me to roll for that? Or would you like me to wait until Pepper and Anastasia go?
In your words, for the sake of storytelling, I won't ask you to roll anything. So you strike out at the frozen figure of Polly. Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yep.
So Pepper and Anastasia are coming up the rear of the group. And as you are running forward, Sid is kind of in the middle. She's keeping up with the rest of you. You turn around, you see Niklaus hit Polly with this plasmid. And like you said, you recognize there's just nothing behind the eyes here. Whatever recognition that she afforded you at the beginning, whatever remnants of that past life that were there, those are completely gone now. And so with that kind of rage bubbling up with it, this has been an illusion, a trick. How could you have been fooled by something like this? This is ridiculous. And that anger bubbles up within you so much that you strike out without even thinking about it with this weapon that you have that has been so faithful to you throughout your journey so far. And you swing the microphone forward and you hit with as much force as you can. And you take in this image of Polly as the connection is made between her frozen figure and the weapon that you've just unleashed on her. And you can see just behind the clothes, just because obviously that would have been the first thing that would have caught your eye, was all of the things that were still right with Polly. But now you're able to see just how tattered and faulty her body really was. She might have had those last few twinkles of what she used to be. And it was so easy for you to kind of pluck that image from your mind and impose it on this one. But now you're seeing it for what it is. Her body was not meant to withstand really much else, right? She tried her best to hold on, and she did the best that she could. However, as you make contact with your weapon and the solid form that is this ice, you are able to crack straight through that coating of ice, and as it falls to pieces, so too does Polly's frame crack and crumble with the ice. And the last thing you see is this twisted image of her face, completely devoid of all of that recognition, curled in anger as that form breaks to pieces and then falls to the ground.
Wait, I thought we weren't supposed to be killing her. Stop hogging all the fun.
Bambi starts laughing. And then she starts crying. And then she falls to her knees and she shrieks that same animal sound that y'all heard last time, the second time she beat somebody to death with her heel. And she's just a mess. That's all. She just done. She can't hang anymore. Bye, guys.
Bambi's mom called. She can't hang out with us anymore.
Klaus just sort of steps over to Bambi and, like, gentle head pat, just like, there, it's all right. We'll find more to kill. Don't worry about it.
When you're under the impression that the lack of murder is the problem.
Yep.
She does not respond with anything else but laughter, sobbing, and like this sad animal mewling sound.
So Pepper similarly isn't sure what to do. So she's kind of standing there, and Hearn goes over to these like pieces of like flesh ice and just hesitantly sticks his tongue out.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Can you say that again? What?
Hesitantly sticks his tongue out to lick it because his tongue got stuck on Pepper last time.
Oh, okay. That, you know what?
Icy flesh.
I was under the impression that you had said Pepper. So
No,
this is much better. That's
the
fine. The dog can do it. That's okay. Don't worry about it.
The dog
Introducing
likes
you.
the flesh ice, not the player character.
I thought you said Pepper had gone over and shoved a piece of the ice in her mouth. I was like,
Introducing
what are
you
you doing?
Frozen
Chips.
Splicer Doggo treats.
Ice chips.
Yeah.
Munch crunch. But no, Hearn is just seeing it, like, does this hesitant thing, like seeing if his tongue sticks, and when he doesn't, he just happily starts munch crunching. Munch crunch on your hopes and dreams.
Oh my god, I learned a new word the other day, and it was cromch.
Crunch?
Cromch.
Crumch?
Cromch.
Here, let me type it out because
There you go. Type it in the chat there.
Crump?
So yeah,
Wow.
Anastasia looks to you, Pepper, as if to say, like, "Hey, can you make your dog stop? Because I don't think this is the time."
Pepper gives her this look, like she's not even realizing that it's doing anything, and then she's like, bad dog. And they stop.
Okay.
Now's not the time.
With that, Anastasia kind of starts to look around a little more, and not quite frantically, but, you know, this is probably an issue. You know, somebody is screaming that could attract lots of attention. So she kind of lowers her gun again, still at the ready, steps around where the scene is taking place and goes to the other door, and just looks in to make sure that nothing is coming for them that direction.
It's valid because Bambi's shrieking and
Yeah.
laugh crying.
Fortunately, nothing seems to be attracted by the sound as of yet.
Good.
Given that the people are looking around in their sound, can Klaus look around to have another chance to notice the Tommy gun?
Yes.
Where did my die go? There it is.
You're just like, I can has gun.
Right. Okay, this is much better. So it is plus 25.
Yes, you see it.
Yay! Klaus is going to literally like half dance, half run over to it and pick it up.
Lord of the Dance plays in the back.
I'm also going to get you to roll a very quick investigate check for me.
All right.
Speaking of investigate, Pepper now is actually going to check that baby carriage out a little bit.
Sure.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. You are able to dig around in kind of like the plant box, where the trellis and the lattice work is stuck into. And there is a box of ammo stashed underneath some of the plants for your gun. So
Yay.
there are currently bullets in it, but there are also some little bits of ammo for you to take as well.
Awesome. What's the damage and how many bullets do I have?
I'll get back to you. I
Okay.
don't know yet.
No worries.
I don't know what an appropriate amount of damage for the gun is, so I'll think about it.
Okay.
All right. So, Sid kind of wanders over as before we get to what's in the carriage. Sid kind of wanders over to you, Bambi, and stands behind your shoulder.
I'm not allowed to.
Oh, hold on. We've got
Oh,
doggo
this is not allowed to use
interruptions.
Oh boy. Sorry.
Pepperino.
The puppers are always more
Okay.
important.
I
true.
apologize.
We love puppos here. It's fine.
Sorry, this is out.
For a moment, I forgot what I was saying because I was like, dog?
It will.
All right. So, Bambi, as you are kind of like shrieking and laughing on the ground, you are able to feel just by your shoulder that Sid has come over and is kind of standing just behind your shoulder there. And she kind of crouches down a little bit. It's like a bend from the waist rather than the knees. So she's kind of just like leaning over. And she lowers her face to yours and she's like, do you want me to use my fire to unfreeze those for you?
It's unnerving how well you can mimic Riley's voice.
It is. It's amazing.
Bambi blinks, almost like she's coming out of a disassociative state, and she looks up at Sid with the widest, and you know what? Her eyes change depending on the session, and today they're blue. With the widest, brightest blue eyes, almost like a doll, her makeup run down her face, and she says, "Whatever do you mean? Do you mean the bits? You want to fry the bits?"
Sid just points to the frozen pieces.
The bits.
Right, that's exactly what I was thinking. Bambi wipes her face off and she looks back at the bits, and that like grief and recognition is gone. She's like a blank slate in the back of her mind. And she says, yeah, that sounds pretty great. And like it's like that mental stability wavers for just a moment. And then she smiles and she says, yeah, of course. You just clean up the mess. I mean, if you want, you don't have to. It's fine. We're probably never coming back this way anyways.
As you are talking, it's just like the only thing in Sid's brain is just like, say less. And she lights these frozen pieces on fire with her plasmid, and they go up in flames, and it just takes a few seconds for like the ice to melt away properly, and then we have burning human flesh. These pieces of human.
I was just gonna say, from over where Klaus is, you just hear this. Someone making barbecue?
Gross.
Yeah, so that's what's happening on our side. Now back to the baby carriage. Pepper, you said you wanted to check it out, right?
Like, is there a dead baby? Is it just like
Pepper.
nothing?
Nothing
What?
good can come from checking the baby carriage.
Is it a bomb? Is it a bear trap? Like, is it a dead bird? Like, she's kind of curious.
So you make your way over to this baby carriage, and you lean your face down to see what's in there. And there's just like a small fabric doll in there, but it's got like a drawn smiley face on it. And it's not wearing any like doll clothes or anything. It's just a naked material doll with a little face drawn on it.
She's like, "Aw, it's cute," in like a really creepy, like pedophile kind of way.
I hate it here.
As I said, nothing good can come from looking at the baby carriage.
I feel like I want a clip of he's saying I hate it here to be my new cell phone notification sound.
You'll have to clip it from the VOD when it goes up.
Okay, I will.
We're at 2 hours and 41 minutes.
All right.
Oh, goodness gracious. I'm kidding. Of course, I love it here. Sometimes. So with that, we have a crispy burning splicer on the ground. We have a naked fabric doll in a carriage, and Klaus currently doing God knows what Klaus does with the Tommy gun. And the dogs, not Pepper, having put the ice in their mouth. I honest to God thought you said Pepper was eating the pieces. I was like, God, Pepper, have some sensitivity. Read the room, God. Okay, no, with that.
I mean, it has been a while since she's eaten, but
Oh my goodness, please don't eat the dead splicer. Especially not Bambi's friend. All right.
The kumquats in the bloody bag seem a lot less crazy now, don't they?
Yum, yum, yum.
I feel like somehow Klaus is just radiating this smug energy, like, not so bad now, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bambi, do you need a couple more minutes, or do you get up? Are you ready to go, or do you have to wallow for a little while?
I mean, we'll get there. We'll get to the true wallowing in a little bit. Bambi gets up. She's just like, oh my God, everything is rainbows and sparkles and hunky-dory. And she turns to Klaus and she's like, she says, oh, I bet you I could find my ostrich feather fans. I would love to regale you all with a performance. I'll show you my highest grossing dance that I ever did. Oh, we could visit the lounge. Like, she's gone. She is checked out.
Klaus just
Once
looks over at
again.
Bambi, and it goes, "Oh, good, crying time's over. We can all laugh and play again."
And she like,
Sorry, what were you gonna say? Chris?
No, I was just gonna say, once again, Anastasia also looks like she's checked out. She has experienced some type of whiplash from Bambi's back and forth.
it's been a day.
So there's that. She's also really worried about now Klaus stroking this Tommy gun.
It's petting. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Right.
guys, champagne in my nose literally hurts.
Ow! Oh no!
Literally
Don't do
not
that.
metaphorically hurting.
Oh my God.
Yeah, not just metaphorical pain. It literally hurts.
Ouch!
Yeah. So with that, are you guys gonna go through the doors now?
Yes.
No. I mean, yes.
All right.
Yes.
So
Meanwhile, I
ahead.
guess the dogs are having some toasty snack now.
yeah, let's
So they're
let's
just-
usher
they're numbing.
Bambi away from that.
Yeah.
All right. So, you guys go through these doors, and you come out into the entertainment district. From the other side of this little wall piece that was in between the two doors, on the other side of that, there is an elevator. Doesn't seem like it's functioning any longer, but that's kind of like the main elevator that would have brought you up and down throughout the entertainment district buildings. So that's there. It doesn't seem to be functioning, like I said. However, the room that you walk into is quite striking in comparison to the rest of the place. And that's saying something, because we've discussed how much detail and time and money was just shoveled into the creation of all these little details within the city. But here you have this large main plaza And in the center of the plaza is a staircase, and it's not quite a tight spiral staircase, but it does kind of curve in on itself up to the second level. So it's not like a full spiral, but it does have a spiral to it. Just these beautiful steps that are some sort of rock, probably like a marble or something like that. They're, of course, grimy and overgrown, but you can still tell, like, this would have been gorgeous in its prime. So you've got that kind of staircase in the middle. Around it, on the back end of it, is like a little pond. And it's almost like one of those little wishing well ponds where kids like toss coins into and make a wish kind of deal. And then there's like benches and things around it. And there would have been plants and stuff, which have long since overgrown and gone up the sides of the staircase and grown into the well, which is mostly depleted of water. It's just a little bit on the bottom. But then you look around the other room. On one side, there's clothing stores and restaurants, and kind of like on the other side, it mirrors that. So there's a clothing store and a restaurant. Then directly across from it, on the other side of the plaza, there's a clothing store and a restaurant. And then along the back of this plaza, there are like other different things, but mostly, most eye-catching of all, right in the very back of the plaza, right behind the staircase, is this beautiful large casino entryway. And like, you can just imagine how those neon lights would have lit up the back of the marble stairs and kind of bled through the plaza. And it definitely was kind of a beacon for those first coming into this ground level of the plaza. And then on one side of it, you have one lounge, and on the other side of it, another lounge. And Bambi, you recognize the one on the left as being a place that you have made it your purpose not to think about. And on the other side, is where you used to sing. This is the lounge where you used to perform, on the other side of this casino. And most notable about the place as a whole, rather than the decorations and how the layout is, or the staircase or anything like that, most notably is the fact that this place looks relatively clean. There's no dead bodies, as is pretty typical, wherever you go, but there's nothing of that. Things are still grimy, mind you, like it's still aged, it's still been here a very long time without proper care. But just in comparison to the places that you've been so far, there's far less debris, there's far less carnage, probably not as much fighting either. It's well kept for the time and the experience of it all. So yeah, you don't even hear anybody rattling around. There's no splicers coming to react the way Bambi was crying. It seems quiet.
Bambi is right back to being that showgirl, that like cute, bubbly, sweet, like let's paint the town red kind of attitude. And she takes Klaus and Sid's hands, because out of all the player characters, they're the only ones that are willingly allowed to be touched without having an entire arsenal of violence brought down upon their heads. And she, like, in a really exaggerated fashion, drags them towards her side of the lounge. Like, let me show you where I got my start, where the dressing rooms were. And she leans towards Anastasia and Pepper, and she's like, where the dresses are. Oh, you will just die. Everything is so luxurious, and there's I'm sure that there's still drinks. They had a bar tab. Like, let's have a party. And she's just like trying to drag them as far away from the other side into her lounge as possible. And she's making a point of like excessive eye contact, like staring at
Mike
them.
got really quiet on that last part. What was that?
Sorry. She makes excessive eye contact, staring at just them and not looking at any potential posters that might still be in their frames or whatever.
Love it. Yeah, Klaus is all on board with this. Like, he's looking at everything and doing the, oh, interesting. Yes, it's very nice. Things like that. Little comments here and there. But does again mention, like, you mentioned clothes. I need a new suit.
Yes, so there might be suits here, but I also have this incredible tailor. We'll get there. I promise you, we'll get there. And she's just like it's almost like painful. Like the fact that she is like trying to shove you guys and like blocking your view from the other side and going out of her way to be like, yeah, look at me over here. Hey, I'm the distraction. I'm so cute. Follow me.
So,
Ew, look at me.
Bambi,
I want attention.
Bambi, as you're dragging Klaus and Sid with you, the hand that is holding on to Sydney, you start to feel that section of her skin heat. So she doesn't say anything to you, but she's wiggling in your grip. And then the section of skin that you're touching starts to get very warm.
Bambi immediately lets go because Sid has already made it like abundantly clear that Sid wants nothing to do with Bambi unless she's giving them permission to burn a corpse. So Bambi lets go and she brushes, like she literally like does this and like sweeps her hand across her hip, but she's like suave. She makes it look like it was all intentional. And she's just like, come on. And she's like she's doing like a little bit of a cha-cha kind of move backwards as she's like shuffling towards her lounge.
So you're kind of putting on quite this peacock show
Spectacle.
Yeah.
So-
And everybody's kind of like, watching you do this. And before we get everybody else's reactions, you finally kind of slide up to your old lounge, your old stomping grounds, and you see on the door as you turn around and face it. You see plastered to the door is one of Vixen's old lounge posters on your door.
Yeah.
That bitch put her lounge poster on your door.
Yeah, I have a response, but I want everybody else's responses first.
All right, so Pepper.
Pepper's like, why is she acting so weird? Just like she's definitely noticing that this is not normal.
Klaus is able to see the poster. Yeah?
Yes, yeah, it's right on the door.
Okay. So Klaus just looks at it like, who's this? Was there some other performer in here?
Bambi literally, like, cat yowl screeches. And she sinks, like, she's been backing up and she turns around and she sees the doors. And I assume that's when Nicholas makes his comment. Pepper's been like commenting up until that point. And she turns around and sees this. And she just like makes the most uncouth, terrible, not feminine, elegant sound in the entire world, sinks her claws, her nails into this poster of Vixen and literally rends it and throws it at the ground. And she points at the ground and just says, "This is my fucking turf, you little bitch. Stick to your own territory." And she like grinds her barefoot heel into Vixen's torn up face.
Klaus just looks over at Sid and goes, "I guess she's not a fan."
Bambi looks up and sticks a finger in Klaus's chest. Like, she's tiny. She really doesn't have a lot of strength. But like, yeah, she's a total pterodactyl. And she just like wasp pokes at the front of Niklaus's chest, and she says, "You do not get to talk to her in my presence. This fiend, this terrible human being, she stole everything that I had. You have no idea what I have endured just to overcome her shadow. She is a good-for-nothing, slimy snake." And like,
So
just like
Bambi,
goes on. Yes.
as you are just having this entire tirade, this total mental breakdown over a poster,
Yeah.
you hear the sound of metal scraping. Is that something that's going to take your attention, or are you too busy
She's too
on
wrapped
your
up. I'm
tirade?
sorry, guys.
Oh, it's fine.
She cannot even. She can't even on.
So, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I was just saying, Klaus is, I think, also going to be too wrapped up in what Bambi's doing and just staring at this finger that's poking into his chest, like what is this? What are you, but listening to the whole thing, and he goes, "Oh, I see. So it sounds like we should go on a revenge rampage and go take this lady out."
Her eyes literally sparkle. You have just planted the seed of an idea that is too terrible, and she loves it.
So, I'll leave this up to you guys then. Klaus, Pepper, Anastasia.
Yeah, Pepper's already super on edge, and her shrieking, like, she knows that that's like. So actually, I think Pepper's going to slip away and actually set up like a sniper, readying for onslaught.
You're not gonna have time for that. Just
Oh, okay.
1 second.
Okay.
While Bambi is on her tirade, there's that screeching sound of metal. Do you all recognize it? Do you hear it? Are you
I think
listening
Pepper
for that
would.
quick
I
thing?
think Pepper would, yeah.
Okay.
If it's persistent, I imagine Klaus would eventually be like, "What the hell is that noise?"
It's just once.
Okay, then no, he won't.
No? Okay.
He's too
Bambi
busy
is like,
coming up with rampage ideas.
Bambi is just like shaking his lapels.
I would say Sid hears it and kind of like turns her attention to try and figure out what it is, but then Bambi is just going on this complete tirade, so she gets like sucked back into that, like what the hell is happening? So it happens once, and then as you, Klaus, kind of say to Bambi like, "Ooh, maybe we should find her," and Bambi finally comes down from whatever drug she's on. You
We all know
hear
what drug she's on.
yeah. You hear the very loud cocking of a shotgun,
Oh God.
and it's
Dodge!
coming from the left. It's coming from the left. If you're standing in front of Bambi's lounge, it's coming from the left. What do you do?
The puppers are gonna just like tackle whatever that bitch is.
You're not even gonna wait and see what's gonna happen first.
I think I can assume what's gonna happen if we wait.
I don't think so.
Bambi, like Nightcrawler
Wait.
style, drops to the ground upon
Okay.
hearing a
Yeah,
shotgun.
so it's to the left. There is the scraping of metal. Is that from the same direction?
Yeah.
And then where is Anastasia?
So Anastasia stayed back with you. I'd say you guys probably got to around where the base of the stairs are, where that little like wishing well pond is.
Okay.
So these three buildings, the two lounges and the casino, take up most of the back wall. And then the like little wishing well pond kind of thing is in the very center of the room. So if you come over to the side of that pond, you're kind of closer to the left-hand side, but still within distance of all three of the back wall.
Okay.
The sound, let me specify a little bit more. The sound of scraping metal, it sounds familiar to you guys because you've gone through a door like this previously. It's a gated door. So that scrape is the metal retracting. So you hear that as you all you hear the sound of a shotgun cocking, and Bambi, as you hit the floor, you hear a voice that says, "I wondered who was doing all of that screaming. I thought I recognized the familiar sound of a dog howl."
Oh no! It is her.
And as I assume, Pepper, you two also look in the direction as Anastasia does to this voice. And you see a woman standing in front of this lounge, leaning as nonchalantly as possible against this metal grate that has been retracted to the side. And she's dressed very lavishly in that kind of, we'll call it a widow's robe with the feather trim, the sheer robe, and she has a sawn-off shotgun in her hands, which she is ready to do something with, but it's not pointed at any of you. It's just ready.
No.
Klaus immediately looks to Bambi and goes, "Is this the one we're rampaging on?"
Oh no. So,
I don't have a response. I'm sorry.
you're
Bambi's on the floor.
she's like, gotta be like, hyperventilating or something. I don't know.
A little bit.
You've just come down from this tirade of anger and have just finally calmed back down. And now, rather than a photograph, the woman herself, Vixen, who was on that poster on your lounge, is now standing just down the hallway from you. And not only that, but she's insulted you, ma'am.
To be perfectly honest, like, Bambi just wants to go straight feral dog on her ass, like Splicer style, like brain dead monster.
No. So actually, Pepper can probably like looks back and forth and sees like that there's going to be a fight, and she's immediately like, "Oh no, that's a person. She's no longer a person," or is going like full beast. So her dogs do go in between them, and one like growling at Vixen, one growling and standing in front of Bambi.
Yeah.
Klaus is just
Pepper's
standing
awesome.
still, like with the half crossed arm, one hand on the chin, thinking, going, do I use the new gun? Do I use the shears? The bat would be a lot of fun. Lots of blood. Literally is trying to decide what weapon to use.
No.
So Anastasia kind of like mutters in Russian under her breath. And you guys can probably tell that they're not nice words. They just don't sound nice. As she watches the dogs move into action.
And we don't mean you, Bambi.
I know. I know.
And then so she's got this shotgun aimed at the ground, and then she looks at you, Bambi, from across the hall. She says, "Oh, Bambi, darling, it's been such a long time. I wondered if you'd ever show that mug of yours around here."
Bambi!
It's so lovely to see you.
Bambi only has a low growl. That's all that she can manage right now. It's like the Klaus-fueled revenge anger that she feels.
Yeah. But both Pupper, like, especially the Pupper, I think it would be Hearn that is on. So it's kind of interesting because I guess as you guys are around the dogs a little more, you are beginning to kind of get the different personalities of the dogs. Like Artemis has this more of this grace about her. She's the one who's like the alpha of the two. That's why she always attacks first and stuff. So she has more grace and poise, while Hearn is a little bit more wild and a little bit more like goofy, So Hearn is the one on you, Bambi, and he's like glaring at you, and he's kind of in a lower position, is like starting to bare his teeth and get that saliva dripping, just saying like, don't fucking move.
Bambi can't even see Hearn, unfortunately. All she has is Vixen in her sight. And Bambi adjusts her position so she's more or less on her knees in this blood-spattered white ball gown. And she looks at Vixen, and all, like, after, like, the guttural growling, all she can manage is to say, "You." Like, words and saliva probably like dripping out of her mouth, like she's ready to go full on rabid raccoon.
And as you do that, Vixen kind of she lounges back against the door frame even further.
I was muted. Sorry, 1 second. I just had to say real quick, thank you, Michael, for the $8 donation to give Bambi advantage on the next move.
Sweet. Yeah, okay. So Bambi, you have advantage if anything comes of anything. However, Vixen kind of lounges further back on the door frame with the metal grate, and this smile just spreads across her face. Like, clearly she is so much more unaffected than you are. This is funny to her. So this smile like spreads across her face. Just this pure joy at knowing that after all of these years, she still has this kind of effect on you.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh, come now, Bambi, darling. I'm sure you can make more words than just that. Can't you?" And that's where we're going to end today.
Ah! Valid. I'm going to have to stew on this all week long.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness.
I don't even know what to
amazing.
think. What a roller coaster.
Right?
We got a lot more story today, which was nice.
It was really nice. I really, really enjoyed being able to roleplay and have a little bit more of the story come out. It was fun.
That's great.
I was going to end it earlier on a different cliffhanger, and then you guys were just gung-ho and straight into it. I was like, all right, I guess we're going to keep going. But now you have to deal with the with the nagging feeling that for the next week you're not going to know anything else about Vixen and Bambi.
You know, part of me really wants Bambi to like consolidate this rage, but she won't. Like, that's not her character to like just chill out. She can't do it.
I'm just glad that I now have a week for Klaus to figure out, do I use the Tommy gun? Do I use the pistol? Do I use the baseball bat with the nails in it?
The shears.
The shears. Sheer audacity.
The fact that Klaus has managed to amass so many weapons is frightening to me.
Yeah, but would you expect anything less?
Absolutely not.
It's true. It's true. But yes, this was fantastic. We're gonna go on a raid in a bit, but I want to let everybody talk about what their favorite part of the session was and where we can find them, and plug anything that they're doing. And we'll start with Vanessa. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you? And anything else you want to talk about?
In terms of favorite parts, I've been having a lot of fun just doing like the very small, like the little tag on that Sid does, where she just kind of pops out of nowhere and adds a comment that was totally unnecessary, but just really fun. Just like asking Bambi if she wanted her to unfreeze the pieces after Polly was completely destroyed. That was my favorite. I'm also really, really looking forward to potentially having a conversation between Vixen and Bambi. I don't know how far that's going to get, but I have been really looking forward to finally getting these two characters in the same spot. So, and next week, I can say with absolute confidence, next week, there will be a very small, itty bitty Easter egg for Riley. I know that she was here tonight, and that we didn't get the chance to quite get there, but 100% certainty we will get to that next week. And I'm really excited for that because it's just a small little nod to her, because she's not playing with us anymore. So I definitely wanted to keep it in there. So I'm really excited about that as well. But just how much our characters continue to be able to banter back and forth, and just this kind of sense of like, we have to compartmentalize the things that are happening to us. So Klaus is a back burner thing. There are more pressing issues at hand. We will get to that, but perhaps not yet. And then just the way they kind of carry on with each other is... Yeah. But as for where you can find me next, I will be here tomorrow for Star Wars. Tomorrow's Thursday, right? Yes.
Yes, it is.
I have no sense of time anymore. We're in another lockdown, so I have no concept of time. But yeah, so tomorrow I will be here for Star Wars, where I play Anaka, who is a Dark Force user. And that's going to be really fun. You can also find me online on my art Twitter. I just recently posted a few more pieces there about a week or so ago. So if you want to go check those out, my handle is @PepperoDraws, and that's Peppero like the candy. Yeah, that's it for me.
Awesome. Next, Yaz, what was your favorite part? Where can we find you? And anything else you want to share or plug?
Oh man. I don't know how to pick my favorite part. Literally, like, every moment of this game has just been so fun. And we got words. Okay. I think my favorite part for this session was V literally throwing an emotional left hook.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not surprised, but I love it. I didn't really expect to get deeper into Bambi's psyche and like how like totally like rocked she is. by everything that's going on, and there you were, like, aces, baby.
We can have a little psychological assessment as a treat.
Yay! I mean, is that like what we're calling control now? Because you can have a little bit of control as a treat, was a comment said earlier today. That was what I was trying to think. I have such bad ADHD right now. I'm sorry, guys. You can find me next on this channel. I am DMing Beyond the Wall Friday morning, or Friday day, depending on what your time zone is. 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time here on Raven's channel. And yes, Michael. But I've also tried to make a commitment to stream on my own personal channel under Bodalia at least an hour to 3 hours every day in an attempt to obtain affiliate. So if you're interested in art or alternative history or mythology, please check it out. Hey, thanks, Raven.
Of course.
That's it for me. Was I supposed to say anything else? I don't think so.
I think you got it all.
I did.
Rowan, what was your favorite part? Where can we find you? Anything else you'd like to share or plug?
Before you go on with that, I'd just like to point out now that I can finally say I can put a full color picture of Vixen as the game master time.
Yeah!
Now that we've finally gotten to her, it's been her all along. So yeah, I can finally give you guys a full color picture of Vixen. Anyway, sorry, Rowan, go ahead.
Wait. Does that mean I'm right?
Right about what?
I have no idea what you're talking about, and we'll have to see.
Dang it! Why?
Just think of how satisfying it will be when you finally get an answer eventually. But that answer is not coming right now, so you're just gonna have to stew on it.
You're such a jerk. Anyways, go on. Sorry, Rowan.
Rowan for real this time.
I'm so lost. Anyways, so I think my favorite thing is actually finally getting a personality for the dogs. Because the dogs have kind of just been there, but I finally kind of figured it out, and it's slowly been coming to me. But now that the dogs actually have personalities, it's been bugging me. Like, yeah, the dogs are there, but I want them to be part of the team, sort of, a little bit more. So, it was nice to actually get like a good grip on them this time. Just that whole picture of like Hearn, like just getting his tongue stuck on things. That was just like the thing that's like, okay, here's the personalities.
Yay!
Also, the near cat fight between Pepper and Klaus. Like, that's not the first time that's happened. That's not going to be the last. So yeah, it's been great. All right, where you can find me next. That's right, that's a thing. So you can find me next on Saturday, where I'm doing Time Travelers. That's Saturday at noon. We have a special guest coming, so that'll be really exciting, and I really look forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited about
so
that.
you
I need to make a
really
note to myself about that, actually.
you really don't want to miss it. So please be there. Otherwise, you can find all my stuff at rowannorthillustrations.org, including my new paint set. And yeah, that's me.
Awesome. I'm writing this down before I forget it. Time Travelers. If I don't write this down right now, I absolutely 100% will forget it. Okay, there we go. Because, yeah, that's going to be awesome. I'm very excited for the special guest that we're going to have. And I just need to make sure I update the overlay so that you can actually see them. So they're not just hidden behind the overlay. All right. My favorite part, really hard to pick one. It's always hard to pick one, but especially so this week. The freeze tag thing with Pepper was really great. Also, I really had a lot of fun with the fact that I came into this fully in Nick headspace, like fully ready to play Nick, and I rolled resistance, and then it was Klaus, and that was just a lot of fun. With Bambi, I really enjoyed Klaus and Bambi just kind of being, the skipping along, excited about doing random chaotic stuff like there's nothing wrong in the world. And then that little here have some feels moment from Vanessa with Polly. That was unexpected. And me just over here being like, when Pepper went to go look in the baby carriage, I'm like, don't be a dead baby, don't be a dead baby, don't be a dead baby, don't be a dead baby. And you said doll, I was just like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I figured that would be a little too cruel.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't want to do that. Initially, I was gonna have nothing in the carriage. I was just gonna have Polly like cooing at air. But then you guys were like, "Is there something in there?" I was like, "Oh well, I guess a doll, maybe."
That was so much fun. Just the anticipation of like, because literally not just for laughs, but nothing good can come from looking in that thing. Even if it's empty, it's still not good. And just the fear of what was going to be in there and the anticipation of finding out was great. I enjoyed all of that. And I'm really excited to throw down with Vixen next week, potentially. It seems like that might be what's going to happen, so we'll find out.
We'll see.
Why do you guys insist on throwing down with her? Maybe if you were just nice, then there wouldn't have to be a fight.
But V, the problem is that Bambi literally has the most irrational obsession with hating Vixen. She doesn't really have a lot of reason to hate Vixen, except that she's newer and prettier than she is. And Bambi is fucking petty.
Maybe we can spend some time trying to dial that anger back a little bit. We don't have to throw down Vixen, that's all I'm saying.
The reason I'm saying is because, I fully expect Bambi to go in, and so Klaus is, of course, going to follow suit. But we'll see. It's true, we'll see. You can find me next tomorrow. I'll be GMing Elite Bebeskar, which is Mandoa for Clan of Steel. It's our Star Wars campaign with, as you may have guessed, a lot of Mandalorians. It's a lot of fun. We got new music put in for this week, so I'm excited to showcase some of that off. Very space western style music, along with some more like what you'd expect Star Wars music to sound like. So I'm excited for all of that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's always fun to see what these wild and wacky characters do in that show. That's where you can find me next. Other things to share, I've mentioned Fundamental RPG, one of our sponsors. You throw that into chat again. If you go to coffee.com/Raven, like it says down at the bottom of the screen here, and just add a /shop to that, you'll be able to find both Fundamental RPG and Intrepid products. Fundamental RPG 2nd edition, which is what we use for Animus Absentis, and Water this season. The pre-order for that is almost to an end. We've got about, what is today, the 17th? So we've got about a week and a half left on the pre-order for that. So after the pre-order is done, the price will go up a little bit. Yeah, that's going to be fully released either the last day of this month or sometime in the first week of next month, depending on a couple of production items that we're still working on. That is a really fun system. I definitely recommend going and picking that up. And then Intrepid is adventuring gear for IRL. So if you like athletic wear or outdoors wear or... sorry, my nose is itchy. or casual wear even, with a tabletop theme. Intrepid is really, really cool. Definitely go check that out as well. I think that's everything for stuff to plug, so we're going to go on a raid, just making sure who we're raiding is still streaming. They are. So we're going to go raid another member of the Fantasy Network Twitch streaming team. With our raid cry, we're all mad here. We're going to go say hi to Zombie Orpheus, so definitely give them a follow if you're not doing so already. And then I will see you all tomorrow at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Bye, everybody.